Up next, we join Dr. Michael Heiser, who talks to us about the main ideas in his new book, Supernatural.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Heiser, scholar in residence at Faith Life, and I'd like to talk to you today about my book, Supernatural. Now, Supernatural is an abbreviated, condensed version of my other book, The Unseen Realm. It's more than a book about angels and demons, though. What the Bible says about the supernatural world is much wider than that. As Christians, that's the way we tend to think about the unseen world. There's angels, there's demons, there's Satan, there's God, and that's pretty much it. Supernatural takes you into the bigger, wider, stranger, weirder world of the unseen realm from a biblical writer's perspective. And that's really what I'm trying to do. I want readers to be able to read their Bible really again for the first time, reading it through the eyes of an ancient person, an ancient Israelite, or a first century Jew. For instance, if we had a small group Bible study and we had one of those people in there who wasn't modern at all, we went around the room saying, hey, what does this or that passage mean to you? When you got to that person, their answer is going to be dramatically different than anything else you've ever heard. And that's because they're ancient and we're modern. Now, what I want to do in Supernatural, besides have the ancient person in your head, is to communicate some core ideas about who we are as believers and what our destiny is. Now, we think about those questions all the time, but we rarely frame them either in terms of the Old Testament or especially we don't ask how they link back into the supernatural world, the unseen world. And Supernatural tries to do that for the reader. For instance, we use words like sons of God, adoption, children of God, family of God. All of those things are said first about God's unseen, non-human, divine family, the heavenly host, the angels. And so all those ideas have a history. What about our destiny? Well, in the Old Testament story has God dividing up the nations at Babel, putting them under the authority of lesser gods, allotting the gods to those nations, and disinheriting them. Those gods rule the nations until the time of the end times, the eschaton, where Jesus tells believers in the book of Revelation that to him that overcomes, I will put him over the nations. We replace the gods of the nations, the gods of the Old Testament. This is why Paul said, stop trying to sue each other in court. He says to the Corinthians in 1 Corinthians 6, don't you know that you're going to judge angels? You're going to outrank them. You're going to displace them. You're going to rule over them. Again, we don't often think about who we are and what our destiny is as believers in those terms. I have news for you. Heaven is a lot more than standing around the throne of God singing 24/7. There's lots to do, and heaven is a global, Edenic world where God's family, his unseen family, his human family are united together as one, enjoying and administering and taking care of the good things he has made. That's our destiny, that is who we are, and it's connected to the supernatural world.